Shalom. Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Makah Kwadash, double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and salutation, all you Akim out there doing this work in sincerity and charity, with humiliation across the four winds. To you I salute. This is the brother Yahweh from the GMS Farmers Camp. Back at you. Got a lesson. Tonight, lesson entitled Faith is believing in the unseen things of which Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, promise us, being in this faith, being in this truth, because this truth is not for everybody. Not everybody can receive this truth. Because everybody got this faith. Got faith to believe in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Because you got people right now don't even believe World War III can happen. They don't believe farming coming. They don't believe race wars are coming. They don't believe Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai is coming back neither. You get people believe these things. Why? Because they don't have no faith. And having faith and believing these things, knowing that Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, faith is the only way out of here. Faith and doing this way. You gotta believe in the things that Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai promised to come, in order to obtain that kind of faith. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai got to be dealing with you. Like I say, you get a lot of people don't believe. They ain't got that kind of faith. Because having faith is right now a big part of what's going on. Having this faith in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai and the things what he promised us as Israelites, in fact, because it ain't everybody. And faith, having faith and believing these things that Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai say can happen. You gotta believe these things, and you gotta have that faith in order to believe these things can happen. And not only that, you gotta have that faith in order to be a part of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai kingdom, believing that he, can make you a part of this kingdom, his kingdom, Salakia. And I don't think everybody, Salakia, have that faith. Like I say, faith is a big part of this ministry, this walk as well too, Salakia. Faith is a big part of this walk as well. And it's beautiful when you could have that faith and believing in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai and the things what he promised his elect, after this wicked kingdom be destroyed, and believing the things that he say will happen before, we decide to crack those skies and come, and we gotta believe. You gotta believe in these things. You gotta believe in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. That's having that faith. And it's beautiful, man. You could have this faith and believe in the things that Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai promise you, You gotta have that faith to believe that that's his name. His name is a big part of this faith, this walk as well. Because you get a lot of, especially the 2/3, them other nations, they don't even believe the name is Yahweh. and Yahweh Shai Mashiach, his son, Father and the Son. It's really so stuck on this Christianity thing. This got their head fucking going. They head march straight up, you know. So this is the book of John 20 and 24. And it reads, there's Thomas now. But Thomas, one of the 12 called Didymus, was not with them when Yahushua came. The other disciples therefore said unto him, we have seen Yahushua, Salaki, the Most High. But he said unto them, except I should see in his hands the prints of the nails, and put my finger into the prints of the nails, and thrust my hands into his side, I will not believe. God, I mean, he had no faith. He didn't believe. And he was supposed to be a follower of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. You know, he was believing before all of this happened. But after, you know, Yahushai was crucified, and they tell him, you know, they saw him. And he said he ain't gonna believe unless he put his hands inside Yahushai once. You know, so that right there show you that he was lack of faith. You know, he was lack of faith. You know, because being with Yahushai all the time, and Yahushai teaching them and telling them what's supposed to happen. You know, like he wasn't expecting that. You know, he didn't believe that. You know, that show you the lack of faith that he had, you know what I mean? Just the book of Luke. So lock here. Yeah, like I say, man, having faith is a big part of this walk right now. We brothers and here at GMS. You know, GMS got this faith, and we know. We believe that. I mean, World War III already started. You know, having faith and knowing that these the last days. You know, we are at the end of this thing, and we truly believe that we are at the end of this thing, and we truly believe that, you know, long as we hold firm and have our faith and believing in Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, that we'll be delivered. You know, we strongly believe that. That's having faith. You know, and believing that these things is about to happen. You know, and that's beautiful to know these things, to have that faith, that type of faith. You know, like, you know, all when it first time coming into the truth. You know what I mean? With the brother Bashar, but he's not longer with us right now. He used to always say, how Shai, how Hashem Shai choose you. You don't choose him. And after getting involved in the scriptures and getting the breakdown of the scriptures and believing that these things is true and the things that Yahweh Hashem Shai promises, you know, it really gives you that faith, you know, to believe these things can happen. You know, these things must happen. It's the book of Luke 17 and 5, and it reads, and the apostle said unto the Lord, increase our faith. And Moses said, if ye had faith as a grain of mustard seed, ye may say unto the sycamore salaki tree, be thou plucked up by the root, and be thou planted in the sea, and it shall obey you. So you know that gotta be that have to be some real powerful. That gotta be some real faith that in order to believe these things could happen, and it could happen. You know, because this is what That's what Yahushua tell the apostles. That's what he tell them. You know, I can read that again. You can read that again. Just the book of Luke 17:5. And the apostle said unto the Most High, increase our faith. They begging for this faith. And the Most High said, if ye had faith as a grain of mustard seed, ye might say unto the sycamore tree, sycamore tree, Salakia, be thou plucked up by the root, and be thou planted in the sea, and it shall obey you. Salakia. So that's faith. You gotta, and he telling them what they could do. He letting them know. All you gotta do is have this faith and believe this could happen, and it will happen. Have this faith and believe this can happen, and it will happen. It will happen. You know what I mean? So faith is believing in the things that Yahweh Bashem Yahushai promised us. And the things what he say can happen, we believe that these things can happen. That's having that faith. Because without this faith, it'd be no deliverance. You gotta believe that Yahweh Bashem Yahushai can deliver us as well. From this wicked kingdom, this wicked Esau world, this Esau kingdom. We gotta believe these things can happen. Just having faith, having faith and believing in these scriptures. Believing in Yahushai. Having faith and believing in the things what he promised us. That's beautiful. Just believing these things. Could happen. It's the book of Hebrews, chapter 11 and 6. Hebrews 11 and 6. But without faith, it is impossible to please him. For he that cometh to Yahweh must believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him. The point being is, read that again, but without faith, it is impossible to please him. For he that cometh to Yahweh must believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him. You see that faith, having this faith and believing in Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, like I say, believing the things that he say will come to pass, believing these prophecies, believing the things what's going on in this world, believing the things to come, believing in his word, believing in these scriptures, even believing in the brotherhood, having faith that, all us will just be a part of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai kingdom. So faith, is a big part of this journey. Having faith is a big part of this journey. We gotta believe in these things. We gotta believe in Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Gotta believe in these scriptures. We gotta believe that World War III is there. We gotta believe that famine is coming. Race wars. We gotta believe and have this faith that these things can happen, because without these things, without this happening, there will be no deliverance. So we gotta have that faith, like I say, believing in these scriptures and knowing that these things in the scriptures, these prophecies must come to pass. And we strongly, here, JMS, we strongly believe these things. We strongly believe these things can happen. These things happening. And we strongly believe in having that faith that this is the only way out of here now. Believing in these prophecies, believing in the words of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, and believe in the things that he promised us. So like I say, faith is a big part of this walk as well. Having that faith and believing and strongly believing in these things that Yahweh Shemel Shai promised us. Strongly believing in these things. So like here, this the book, second address, chapter 7 and 20. Second address 7 and 20. For there be many that perish in this life, because they despise the law of Yahweh that is set before them. They ain't got no faith. They despise the word of Yahweh Shemel because they don't have no faith. For Yahweh had given straight commandments to such as come, what they should do to live. He tell you what you need to do to live. Keep the laws, statutes, commandments, and believing and Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, having faith in these things, what he promised us. Having faith and believing in these prophecies. Having faith and believing in these words, these scriptures. Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. We can take that from the top again. For there be many that perish in this life, because they despise the law of Yahweh that is said before them. For Yahweh had given straight commandments to such as come, what they should do to live, even as they come, and what they should observe to avoid punishment. Having faith and believing in Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, believing in these scriptures, believing in the things that he promised us, believing that 2/3 of Israel going to be put to death, believing that these other wicked nations that Yahweh Bashem Yahushai can give them to us for slaves in the kingdom, believing that Yahweh Bashem Yahushai will destroy Esau and these wicked kingdoms on this planet, right? Having faith to believe these things. You got to have faith to believe these things. Having faith to believe these things that Yahweh Bashem Yahushai promised us. And verse 24, you can read 24. Salakia. But his law have they despised and denied his covenants. In his statutes have they not been faithful, and have not performed his works. They ain't have no faith. The 2/3, they don't have no faith in Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. A lot of them don't even believe, have no faith in believing that World War III right now is happening. As they back here in my little country, the Bahamas, they say, if it ain't happening yet, it ain't happened to us, but we feeling the full effect right now, and with the full brunt of the price of fuel, because the fuel going up, and eventually we know the fuel, the food can go up, the medicine can go up, whatever essentials we need, and right down here in the Bahamas, in our little country, we import, say, but 90% of whatever we use in this country, we import. The little farmland, what they get in Andres, and the little stuff what they grow and both in whatever other country, they can't sustain us. And like I say, we have enough, we brothers here at GMS, and open to be a part of that number, that elect number. We have the faith that when we see these things happen, we know that Yahweh Bashem Yahushai get us, because that's the faith what we got. That's the faith Yahweh Bashem Yahushai installing us, to make us believe these things through these scriptures, through these prophecies, So having faith in believing in Yahweh Bashem Yahushai is a big part of this walk. It's a real big part of this walk. You know, got a book, Ecclesiasticus, Sirach. So chapter 15 and 15. If thou wilt not keep the commandments and do perform acceptable faithfulness. Read that again. Sirach 15 and 15. If thou wilt not keep the commandments and do, and to perform acceptable faithfulness. Faith is a big part of this walk. You know, so we gotta believe in and have the faith that these things can happen, and we soon out here having that faith and knowing these things can happen, believing in these scriptures, you know, and believing in the things Yahweh Bashem Yahushai promises, because we gotta even have that faith and believing that we gotta go through that fiery furnace and all. We gotta go through that. We have to go through that. And having that faith and believing that we gotta go through that. When we go through that, we just gotta have the faith and believing that Yahweh Bashem Yahushai got better things for us, you know, to come. That's the faith, that's the mindset we gotta have. We gotta believe these things, believe these scriptures, believe these prophecies, believe in Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Believe that whatever Yahweh Bashem Yahushai say, and having that faith in them things, we will be rewarded through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. So I hope this lesson was edifying and this serves a purpose, you know, because faith is a big part of this walk, and we got to believe in these things. We got to believe in World War III can happen. I mean, it already started, but we got to believe and have the faith that this can be global, you know, because it can affect the whole world. Like I say right now down here in my little country, the Bahamas, we have oil, fuel costs going up. You know, then eventually it can be food. You know, food and medicine. Then it'll probably be like car parts. Then it'll probably be like clothes and shoes. You know, and the other shit's what we used to import in the country until the time come whereby we won't be able to get none of these things come in the country. Then we gotta really have that faith and believing that Yahweh Bashem Yahushai will take care of us. Us brothers here at Great Millstone at GMS, you know, and believing that Yahweh Bashem Yahushai got us. So until I come with the next lesson, brothers, Shalom.